Thing at all from my shows recently, I would hope that it would be this. The world is changing. It's happening under your feet. And you must pay attention because our way of life in the entire West is at stake. I want to talk to you about developing domestic sources of oil and gas. Why would we do that? Well, where's it going to come from? Aside from the obvious, we need energy, where else can we get oil just to be able to survive? Well, the Russians have built a new pipeline into Europe. Russia currently provides a quarter of the total EU gas supplies. 7 countries out of the 27-nation bloc are almost totally dependent on Russia for gas. You remember in the news in the last few years where they just turned the gas and the oil off? So why was it that President Reagan warned that we should never allow Russia to build a pipeline into Europe? What was it he said? Oh, yeah, that's right, that they would control all of Europe. Look at the pipelines. Look at the map. Here are the pipelines. It's all going this direction. Who do you think controls these people? Who? If Libya fails, they're not counting on Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is also worried about failure. They get their oil from Libya right now. It comes up and goes in all over Europe. But if that fails and Saudi Arabia fails, well, I guess they have Russia to count on. Oh, isn't that good for them? Multi-billionaire T. Boone Pickens says, quote, about America, there is a big energy table. We don't even have a chair there. We're out in the hall, and the Saudis come out and tell you what you're going to pay for it. Well, is there any country that is preparing? Is there any country that is looking to the future, doing what we used to do? Well, yes, Russia, and let's look at China. Here's China. These are the 24 countries that China has oil interest in. You think they're going to reduce their carbon footprint? Oh, and guess who else is working with China? Yes, the Russians, to build a $26 billion pipeline. So, I know we're all friendly as St. Bernard puppies with a prime rib bone right now. Oh, we'll never. China and Russia, they're our good friends, and they always will be. Yeah. America, if the Middle East goes down, we don't have oil anymore. How do we hold our country and our economy together with $10 a gallon gasoline? And do you want to be beholden to any other country, even these good friends of ours, for the lifeblood of any country, energy? Or do you just believe that these solar panels and this new green wind power is going to magically sprout out of the ground? By the way, it leaves Canada for us because Mexico's production is declining dramatically as well. This is why we must drill now. You open up the Gulf and you open up the shorelines of Alaska. If there was oil there, you could put a rig in my backyard because America needs oil. This is of national security. You won't be able to save the birds and the fishies and the polar bears and the whales if America doesn't survive. I guarantee that. If you're an environmentalist, you really think the whale's future is better in the hands of this guy? Really? He, by the way, was shooting whales with that. This is not about the people we've shown you tonight here on this chalkboard. All the same people, Soros and Van Jones and the communists. It's not about the American dream. It is about ending the Western way of life. That's why if I, or I dare say you, were president today, you would say, drill, open them up. Give incentives to drill as fast as you can. The world is changing. But what is this president doing? Well, surprisingly, just about an hour ago, right before this program went on air, the White House approved the first drilling permit in the Gulf of Mexico since the BP oil spill last April. That was 314 days ago. The permit was granted to Noble Energy to bypass one of its wells located near the old BP well that exploded. One new permit in 314 days. Earlier this month, a federal judge ordered the White House to make a decision about 5 other pending applications from Louisiana firm looking to drill in the Gulf of Mexico. The judge noticed the difference in how permits were processed before last year's oil spill under Obama. Quote, "It has been undisputed that before the Deepwater Horizon disaster, permits were processed on the average in 2 weeks' time. In stark contrast, 5 permits the 5 permits at issue have been pending from 4 to some 9 months." Today was the first one, about an hour ago. Why isn't there more media coverage on this? You know. Because the media would rather play the agenda and talk about how evil Governor Scott Walker is than let you know the decision our government is making right now could well cripple us, not as a country, but as a way of life.